What's up, beautiful souls? So today I'm going to share with you from my book, The Spiritual Guide to Mental Health. I'm going to read a little bit about chapter 1, and I just thought I'd start the book. It's called A Brief Review of the History of Psychiatry. Because history repeats itself. So if we can understand the patterns of the past, then we can kind of have a better understanding of what's happening currently, because history repeats itself. So the history of psychiatry is a dark one. The moment it started to view the human psyche as a body and not a soul, it opened itself up to a host of practices that can be considered inhumane. In 1879 in Germany, a man named Wilhelm Wundt, sometimes referred to as the father of psychology, theorized that man was like an animal without a soul, a stimulus response mechanism who must be molded to fit into society. To this day, psychiatrists create diagnoses that label people with diseases if they do not fit into society. You see, that was a big turning point where science, psychiatry made it okay to label someone not as a soul, but simply as kind of like a mechanical machine. Serotonin, dopamine, increased dopamine, decreased serotonin, without taking into account that man has a soul, is infinite consciousness. And so when you see someone only as a machine, the way you treat them is different than if you see them as a soul. So all these inhumane things started happening. Francis Galton shortly thereafter took this theory into eugenics, which is a pseudoscience that believed humans could be bred to select for desirable traits and weed out undesirable ones. This led to Adolf Hitler writing his book Mein Kampf, which is the law of prevention of genetically diseased offspring, which encouraged the eradication of any diseased or weak offspring. This led to the sterilization of 400,000 Germans over a period of 12 years. So as soon as you believe that someone is just a machine and they have to be molded into society, it gives some people, they start believing that they can treat these people to fit them into society, just like it's happening right now. So psychiatrists make this Bible and say, if you don't fit into these parameters, you're going to be labeled with a diagnosis, which kind of makes you unfit in society. Then you're going to be placed on meds, which numb down your frontal lobe and your chakra system, and actually prevent you from ever treating the root cause of the symptoms. Not in all cases, but in some cases. So that belief is what psychiatry was based off of. This practice then evolved into the Holocaust, where millions of people were mass murdered. So psychiatry had a part in that, in the Holocaust. Then as science started experimenting with the humans, psychiatrists began to use an ice pick to perform psychosurgery. So these quote-unquote psychotic patients, that are written about in the Bible, when Jesus approached, there was a psychotic person. So psychiatrists would take these people, and if they didn't understand them, they were crying out for help, they were screaming, they would actually do surgery, sedate them, and take out their frontal lobes, the seat of judgment and wisdom, believing that they had cured them. So psychiatrists used to take out people's frontal lobes. That's where this history evolved into. I am convinced that in a few decades, people will look back at current psychiatric medications and realize that psychiatrists were chemically lobotomizing their patients, or shutting down, numbing down their frontal lobes. So I don't mean this to be true for all like mild little doses that help people survive. I'm talking about these people who come in on like 6 or 9 different medications. Psychiatrists are just gambling, throwing medications at them. Oh, this one didn't work, higher dose, next one, let's try this one. And some of these clients souls are coming in on like 5 to 9, and you can see it in their eyes. The light in their eyes are out. Their light body is shut down. Their energy centers are shut down. They're like a zombie, and yeah, they don't have as many symptoms, but they're not alive, and they're not treating the root cause. So I really believe in about 50 years, we're going to look back, the science is going to show that we were chemically lobotomizing souls. Point being, when the practice of psychiatry negates the value of each person as a unique soul, this leads to practices that are inhumane and contribute to mass injustice and tragedy, such as the Holocaust, or such as the global pandemic of medications right now. The way of viewing mental illness has not led to an evolution of host of psychiatric diagnoses that continue to grow every time the Psychiatrist's Bible, also known as the Diagnostic and Statistic Manual of Mental Disorders, now in 5th edition, is revised. So we are at a point where every person in society can be labeled with a psychiatric diagnosis. Isn't that crazy? So psychiatrists every 5 or 10 years, they get together and they revise the Psychiatrist's Bible, DSM. It's on its 5th edition. And every time it gets thicker and thicker and thicker. I don't even know, I can't even count how many quote-unquote disorders and labels there are now. And the system has made it so that if you have this disorder, you take this medication. There's no psychiatrist who's going to ask and delve into where did the trauma come from. Let's move into the trauma. Let's try to love the trauma. Let's try to heal the trauma. Here are some natural approaches. A psychiatrist's office visit these days is question, 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 question. You have 5 out of 9. It's been longer than 2 weeks. Here's this med. So that's what we've come to the point where almost every single person in society can be labeled. And the truth is, we were not made to fit in. These labels and diagnoses are trying to make people fit in to society. The truth is, we were created to stand out, not fit in. So every single person is going to have unique characteristics which make them stand out, which is a unique reflection of source. So these meds are actually trying to help people to fit in and numb down some of these characteristics instead of allowing them the freedom to really go to the root cause, trying to help people fit into a sick society. The society is sick, not the person, not the soul. The medications currently being used often shut down the energy centers in the body and numb people to their creativity and joy. It is important to note that psychiatric symptoms often present themselves as warning signs that something needs to be addressed in the person's life. So the emotions are like a spiritual GPS navigational system. If we actually follow instead of numbing them, go into the emotions and try to realize what it's trying to teach us, it's actually going to guide and lead us into the cure, into our highest path. It's going to let us know that, hold on, this relationship that we're in is not serving us. It's going to let us know that, hold on, this job that we're in, going to every day that we're not, is numbing us down and is stealing our joy. So if we actually move into the emotion, it actually guides us. But now what we're doing is numbing it down. So our emotions are a spiritual GPS navigational system coming from the heart. The medications can numb the symptoms, but it never actually treats the root cause of what's presenting. Thus, the person on medications, though able to stay numb and function temporarily in society, they will not be able to address the root cause of what's going on because they are unaware of what it actually takes to treat the root cause because they're numb. Thus, the symptoms will continue to reoccur cyclically. The medications will eventually stop working. Tolerance is built. And the person eventually will not be able to function at all without psychiatric medications. So they actually get addicted to the psychiatric medications, the chemical imbalance that the medications are causing, thus reinforcing the system and benefiting those people at the top, pharmaceutical companies, all those people. It is a system that does not cure, but guesses, band-aids, and gets people into a cyclical pattern of more medications, more side effects, and hospitalizations. It is also a system that gives no attention to the fact that human beings are in truth unique, vibrant, powerful, creative souls that were not designed to fit in but to stand out. Today, the practice of categorizing, labeling, locking up, and ostracizing psychiatric patients continues to happen. Psychiatry patients are seen to be unfit in society and labeled and placed on medications that numb the frontal lobes. However, people are starting to wake up to the idea that there are natural ways. Nature has the answer. Pachamama has the answer. There are so many herbs, nature therapy out there, connection to nature, so many different things that can actually treat the root cause. So people are starting to wake up that there are natural ways to treat mental illness. We are starting to see the human being is not a mechanical instrument, but a highly intelligent, unique reflection of Source, God, Allah, Creator, Spirit, Universe, whatever term resonates with you. The aim of this book is to provide an alternate way of looking at mental illness, an energetic way, a conscious way, and to plant seeds that help us see mental illness not as a disease or a problem, but as a lesson, a blessing, and an opportunity for growth. You see, depression is a transition state in consciousness here to increase our consciousness. So is anxiety. Everything is a lesson, a blessing, and an opportunity for growth if we believe it is. It is my hope that we can shift our paradigms beyond the system and see each other and ourselves from the perspective of a conscious soul. The main objective of this book is also to provide practical tools, herbs, supplements, natural modalities of healing that empower the reader to treat the root cause of the symptoms rather than band-aiding the symptoms. Keep in mind, the word spirit world, the spirit world does not care about our money. It doesn't care about our comfort, materialism, capitalism, race, sex, societal status, death, etc. What the spirit world really cares about is our merging with the best version of ourselves. For such a time as this, a spiritual revolution of consciousness is needed so that each person can individually realize their own Christ consciousness, which means unity mindset, and that is within your heart. So that we can cooperate to help Mother Earth and each other save our planet from further density and chaos. In order to do this, we need the right tools that guide us into our own hearts, so that we can realize our own unique individual purposes and then start creating an energy inspired by our hearts to contribute to the whole. We already have all the necessary technology and resources. Let me repeat that. We already have all the necessary technology and resources. All we need now is an increase in global consciousness. This is already happening, and we are infinitely supported in this effort. So what I mean by that is, listen guys, I've been researching different technologies and different tools that are coming forward right now. We have the tools. The technology is already here. To increase our vibration, to activate our DNA, to help each person realize and understand who we really are, why we were incarnated on this planet. You see, every single one of us has a unique divine blueprint, a deep purpose. So in this book, I'm going to explore some of the technologies, some of the perspectives that might be able to help us activate our divine blueprint, our purpose. Because your divine blueprint, you have a deep purpose to help and contribute to this global increase in consciousness that it's going to take to save our planet, to save Mother Earth, to love each other, to come into that unity. So thanks for rocking with me. That's chapter 1. Love you, light family.